Welcome, everybody, to the GWP. I'm the savior of good behavior, Jose Sands. I'm with the king of super kicks.
Hollywood Marcus, a super kicker.
And the man with 1,002 holds.
Big Ralph.
We're here to talk about this week in wrestling, what could have been, what should have been, and what was. So this week in wrestling, gentlemen, what did you think? Lackluster? Coming off a huge weekend of just pure wrestling every day for like 10 days or whatever how many days it was?
If they would have kept their momentum going with some strong storylines and matches, yeah, but this entire week I'm just like, there's nothing to do or talk about. So, yeah.
Yeah. It kind of fell flat.
Yeah, it kind of fell flat. I mean, there were some good high points here and there, but nothing to write home about. A couple things I want to, bring up and see what you guys have as a, comment or anything. I want to know if you guys think this is a work or a shoot. Okay, so recently Booker T was replaced by Coachman, right?
Coach.
Now, by Jonathan Coachman, the coach. So anyway, he gets replaced. Now there's speculation. Everybody's saying one thing or another. All of a sudden, Booker T gets on his podcast and says, hey, it's because Corey Graves was taking shots at me every time I got on the mic. Now, being Corey Graves, it didn't take him too long to respond, and he tweeted, thus the expert in battle moves the enemy and is moved by him, which is Sun Tzu for the Art of War. So, are they playing us? Because later this week, we got a report from Sports Illustrated stating this is a work. That the heat between Booker T and Corey Graves was nothing but a work. For those unaware, Booker T stated that he would do something to Graves if he saw him in the streets. Graves then took a shot at Booker. He told Coach Graves, watch your tongue, or you might be doing the afternoon radio locally. Taking a shot at Booker there. So, is this him getting extra heel heat to make sure part of his persona? Is this a work? I mean, then, as the New Day does, if you watched Raw, or sorry, SmackDown, the New Day started taking shots while doing the, the Twitter, answering their questions on Twitter.
The
saying,
Twitter answers.
Yeah. So he's saying, on being ranked number 6 in the SD Live top 10, they responded by saying 6 is the percent chance I give Corey Graves in a street fight. So, of course, everybody's getting on fun. Now, do you guys think this is a work or a shoot?
I personally think it's a work. Just because of all the extra attention that it's been getting on during the network shows, like during Raw and during SmackDown.
I think so too. I think it's a work. I think Booker T, when he originally said he was leaving, he had no ill will, and then all of a sudden he just talks about all this stuff and says, "Oh, by the way, it's Corey Graves that did it."
I think he's trying to get I was gonna say eyes, but more like ears on his show, so that people be like, "Oh, what else is he gonna say? What is he gonna say next week? What is he gonna say next broadcast?" So I think it's all a work. Because if it was a shoot, I don't think they would be condoning Booker T wanting to beat up Corey Graves.
I agree with Big Ralph. I don't think a company that has anti-bullying campaigns and does everything in their power to promote non-bullying would condone or allow somebody to say, hey, if I see you in the streets, I'm going to beat you up. I think when it comes down to it, there are two guys posting things to see how other people react and then laughing about it amongst themselves. So I think it's a complete work. I don't think it's anything to be too serious about.
I mean, the rumors you hear that Booker T is a nice guy and that he has nice guy tendencies. So for him to speak out in this way, I believe it's a work. I believe they're just, trying to stir the kettle. I mean, you see the chemistry they have between Graves and Braxton, right?
Saxton.
Did I say Braxton?
Tony Braxton.
Tony Braxton.
Tony Braxton.
Yeah. In his singing days, he did amazing. You should have heard him. He sounded like a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He even looked like a woman
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes. So I think I think between that and the back and forth they have on that is pretty funny.
Can we agree that Booker T was horrible at commentating, though?
Yeah, but it was fun to hear a little bit of the looseness
but-
in it, and like the guys just getting on his case. It was kind of
Like,
fun.
He was bad, but yes, it was fun whenever he would mess up and you would see both Cole and Graves just jump on him and be like, "Oh, yeah, no."
But also at the same time, I don't think there's any legitimate heat between Graves and Booker because you have to know that Vince is in their headsets and probably directing Graves to say what he's saying towards Booker T. So I don't think there's any legitimate heat there.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either. I think it was just fun, and I believe the New Day getting involved in it made it even, funnier.
Yeah, it downplayed it. It's like, hey, people, it's all
all
for ratings. It's
Yeah.
not real.
All fun and games.
Yeah.
I ignore New Day these days because they're just I don't know. New Day's I can't find them entertaining anymore. So whenever they start talking, I stop paying attention.
You didn't like the whole Kofi put his foot on a pancake thing and in the Rumble?
I don't know. I don't care about their pancakes. I don't care about their bootios. I don't care about Big E's tricep meat. I don't care anymore. It's run its course. It's stale and boring now. Get off my TV or do something better with it.
Okay, come at him, New Day.
And, you know what? Yeah, come at me. Come
just get him. I don't
come
care.
directly at me.
You and Big E's boobies, Big Bo boobies, come at him.
Oh,
Hey, I'm not the only. You're not the only one who checks out the guys and looks at their features. Big E has some C cups going there.
I don't check out guys and look at their features.
You do. You mentioned gender. You talked about Braun a couple times. I mean,
Gender having no nipples, but you
Yeah.
noticed it too.
Well, after you said it, then I thought about it.
I just pay attention to what's obvious.
Obviously, he had no nipples.
It's like I said on Facebook earlier. When you're a very observant person, you notice how unobservant other people are, and I think you and Big Ralph are unobservant about some things.
So, I guess we would have to say, do you think that the line between reality and fiction, I guess you'd say, in a sense, do you think WWE decides on certain things where they can say, okay, social media or Total Divas or whatever other things they have out there will work in this storyline, but, in some things they don't? Do you think they should keep it strictly whatever's on WWE, Raw, SmackDown, or whatnot is there, or should they reference anything that happens outside of WWE, whether it's on social media or on, Sports Illustrated or ESPN? What do you guys think about that?
I think it depends. I think it's all situational.
But do you think either you go all in or because they do pick and choose. Either you go all in or you stay out.
Well, example, Lana and Rusev got in trouble for announcing their engagement, but if that was anybody else, they probably would have mentioned it on TV or on a storyline. They would have praised it, but I think it's all situational. Depends on who does it and why they do it.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be situational. It should be either you're going to reference what happens outside of your company, or you don't.
I don't think you can anymore. I mean, with social media, you just can't.
I mean, if they're going into like the quote unquote reality era, because we're in the PG/reality era. I mean, you have to get with the times, and if one of your talents posts something on social media that affects their life, I think at some point you should talk about it, whether you want to or not, because everyone who follows them already knows what's going on.
Unless they want to be smart about it and keep kayfabe, fake kayfabe, and like Bray Wyatt, for example. How am I going to be scared of you or spooked out or believe in your magic that you don't have because I have magic when you're on Twitter and Instagram smiling and posing? I mean, if you're going to do that, have your own personal Instagram, Twitter, whatever.
And set it to private or something.
No,
Yeah.
just have his own personal one for Wyndham
No,
Rotunda.
but then
And
set it
have
for
it on-
private and don't put your picture up on it. Don't use your real name or use something similar to your real name, and post it to your friends and family. Because if you do it as a separate, then you're taking away from the character as well. So if you're gonna go all in, you go all in.
So you're saying don't have one as Bray Wyatt and then a separate one for Wyndham Rotunda. Just have one
I'm
that's
saying
private.
you do, but you
have
don't make
two.
it
You
public.
have two. What he's saying is have two. Have your private one for your private life, and then have the open one for your work life.
Right.
So
Your Bray
complete
Wyatt one.
in character.
Right. Totally in character.
Okay, I can accept that. I would just have two public ones with two distinct personalities. But I mean, if you want to make it private, make it private. It works better.
So, in this conversation of Booker T, a wrestler who's coming back who kind of semi-retired is Shaul. I'm going to say her name wrong. Shaul Guerrero.
So
Saul.
So
Who's the daughter of Eddie and Vicky Guerrero, of course, who used to work as Raquel Diaz back in WWE Developmental around 2010-2014. Now, she announced at 24 that she was retiring, and people thought this was a shock. But it was revealed later that she had stepped down to wrestling due to an eating disorder. Of course, the pressures of being a performer here in the WWE. So now she's in excellent shape.
and the daughter of a famed wrestler.
And a famous wrestler who had problems with substance abuse and everything. So she's now booking everything, coming back, signing autographs, taking pictures. I mean, she's doing everything. So this is a positive thing because somebody who decided at that early age to stop and say, hey, I have a problem. I'm going to get away from this business, which can be pressure, and take a step back, look at themselves and say, I'm going forward. Now, when she was wrestling, I remember some of her matches. She was very well praised at the time. She was looking very good, but I guess the pressures got to her, which caused the disorder. Do you think that this is a lifestyle that, and we can say with the former cruiserweight champion, that this lifestyle that is WWE can cause all these interesting yet dangerous problems with their performers?
yep.
I mean, do you
Most
think
likely,
that
yeah.
it is a personality, or do you think it's just the rules of the road or the way of the road?
I think it kind of goes by person, I think. But if you're, because think about Eddie, for example, he was very obsessive. He was very, like, he loved his work. And if something didn't go right, he would do everything in his power to make sure that it did. So it's kind of in her DNA to just kind of be all in on something and to do whatever it takes to make sure that it succeeds. Like, he had really crazy diet routines and workout regimens. Like, that's who he was. So it's not too far to assume that his daughter would be the same way. I'm glad that she had a control of it before it got really bad. But yeah, I can see it happening to certain people, especially if you're
Marcus?
what?
I think you cut out there for a minute. You said especially if you have...
Hello?
Yeah, you're cutting out
Yeah.
again.
God damn it.
Oh, that we heard.
I said if you have certain personality types, then you are more akin to that type of behavior.
But you don't think the lifestyle is also part of the problem?
Nah. Certain people handle it better than others.
It's true.
yeah, I think it all depends on the person and how they can handle the stress.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Like Hollywood has his magic to hold him back so the stress doesn't get to him.
I just don't care enough.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, but you've never been in the situation that these people and the demands that these people have, these performers.
I have, though.
But in what way? You're not doing 5 days a week.
I used to train
at a high level, performing at a high level and keep maintaining a physique.
When I used to compete on the competition circuits for years at a time. I had to go train literally 2 hours every day before. I would do a tournament once a month, literally, and those are some high stress, high stakes competitions like state championships and stuff. So I kind of understand what they're going through. Not the travel schedule, but as far as keeping yourself in shape and having to compete in the mental and physical stress, I know all about that, man.
All right. I guess like you said, it's a personality type. And if you can handle it, you can handle it. But some of these guys, their personality type wasn't like that, but then they get injury that causes them to be in pain constantly, and then they get hooked on pain pills, which you've heard those stories many, many, many times. So
At least it's not Mojo.
At least it's not Mojo?
You've never seen that video, the guy who was on Mojo and he needed milk?
No.
I'll show you. I'll link it and I'll show you guys to watch after the podcast.
You're going to have to explain that because it totally makes no sense to me. I'm thinking Mojo Rawley, and I'm like, what does that have to do with anything?
No, Mojo's... You'll see. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure our listeners have already seen the video of the guy who needs milk because he was on that Mojo.
He just walked around saying, I need milk? Is this a milk commercial? What is this? Did he walk around with a milk mustache?
You'll see.
I guess I will. This is, for all the listeners, this is going to be like a what do you call it? A suspenseful... Whoa.
He needs some milk.
You see? He needed some milk.
I got it, but I guess it's a visual because all I hear is he needs some milk.
I guess I'm awake now. Okay.
So, something that happened on Raw, something that kind of interests me on Raw, or that I'm kind of puzzled about, is Asuka. Now, Asuka won the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. Now, but they're putting Alexa Bliss in a first ever elimination chamber, all women elimination chamber. So we don't know if she's going to be the champion. And then you have Charlotte on the other end who's going through the Riot Squad. Why haven't they said where Asuka is or who Asuka is going to face in WrestleMania? And have they already kind of made the decision by saying to her in the promo we heard by Kurt Angle that you'll face the champion, whoever that shall be, after Elimination Chamber? So is Angle saying that she's facing the Raw Women's Champion, or does she still have to make a decision?
I think it's already decided for her who she's going to face, and she's going to face the Raw Women's Champion. But the way they're saying it does make it sound like she doesn't have a choice. I don't know. Maybe it's Angle who's been away from the mic for so long that he's just slipping.
This is going to make me sound old and crotchety, but I kind of don't care at this point. They've botched the storyline to the point where I'm just like, just fight whoever she fights, because you're not leading me in a direction or giving me a build to let me know, hey, I should look forward to this. So whatever happens, an elimination chamber happens, and I'll just go from there. But at this point, whatever, WWE. You kind of lost me on this one.
You're just not interested in seeing Asuka fight anybody?
I'm interested in seeing Asuka fight. There's a couple big money matches out there, but she's already beaten Nia Jax a few times, and Nia's the only person built at this point to pose a credible threat. She beat Bayley for I don't know how many times this week. The only match that stands out of recent memory is her against Sasha, but you would have to bring back legit boss heel Sasha.
I think that's what they're working up to.
That's great, but I just think they've deteriorated the credibility of most of the women on the roster at this point, where I'm just like, just throw her in a match, let her win a title, and just go. Because, like Angle said, Bliss hasn't defended the title since October of last year, so it's like...
That's not her fault.
It's not her fault, but we know that she's good, and we know what she can do. But you're not giving it to us and we're going to see it. Because if you build Alexa as legit 5 Feet of Fury, right? I know what her character is, and she's like squirmy, and she gets out of situations, and Nia has her back, but build her up, make her seem legitimate. So when Asuka does beat her for it, it makes Asuka look stronger, and Bliss doesn't lose anything in the loss. Because I feel that Asuka would steamroll through her without much trouble, and that should have happened. But whatever. I think WWE could have did this a lot better, and they haven't. Same thing with what's her name, Charlotte, over on SmackDown. Like I don't know where she's going. I don't know what direction she's in. I don't know. I think they're doing a horrible job booking the women's division right now.
Just the women's division in general, or just the angle with Asuka?
The women's, as Big Ralph would say, the
women's apostrophe S.
The women's division in general. I think they're doing a bad job booking. Too many multi-matches, too many segments where all the women come out for no reason. I don't understand what's happening. Give the book to Triple H, let him do it.
Well, speaking of bad booking, we've got an angle with Angle's son, Jason Jordan, right now.
Yo, man, I just gave you the perfect segue.
I know, but I don't want to talk about that. We're on Raw, for Pete's sake.
Oh, man, okay.
That's why I said an angle with Angle's son. Come on.
All right.
That's my segue to Jason Jordan and his injury. So Jason Jordan undergoes surgery for his neck. His wife took to Facebook the day before saying, yes, he's got an injury. It's not a work. It's for real. All of a sudden, Jason Jordan's wife is his PR agent. And then we find out that he had an injury to the disc in his neck, which resulted in significant pain and was refractory to all conservative measures. It is decided to be minimally invasive operation to decompress the nerve and allow him to heal. So, the Angle, who wrestled with a broken freaking neck, his son, quote unquote, also wrestled with a broken freaking neck.
But he's not as good. So,
come on!
Oh, I went there. Shots fired. I don't care.
Yeah, come at him, Jason Jordan, and his wife.
I don't know what his wife looks like, so I don't know.
What does that have to do with anything? So if his wife looks pretty, then you don't want her to. You want her to come at you. If she's ugly, you don't want her to come at you. Come on, that's like discriminatory.
I have no comment because Liz listens to this.
If she's tall, you don't want her. If she's heavy, what was the difference? Why? Because you want to know what she looks like?
Oh goodness, Alexa! I'm looking at Instagram. But why would I? Why would I discriminate?
I don't know. You're the one who said depends what she looks like.
I didn't say that. I don't know what you're talking about.
We talk about it. I could rewind this right now and you could hear it.
I don't know. No say.
Wow. So, backpedaling, which is what happened about the Latin American tournament that was not happening. Earlier in the week, we heard that a Latin American tournament, like the Cruiserweight Classic and the Mae Young Classic, was happening between, I guess Latin American talents. But all of a sudden, and it was headed by William Regal, then all of a sudden William Regal came onto Twitter denying it, that this was not going to be booked, and it wasn't news because nobody from WWE stated it. It was just somebody who broke the news. So, do you think this is also them kind of backpedaling because maybe they were going to do it and they decided at the last minute they weren't? Or is this just somebody trying to throw news out there and not really have any good sources? And would you have liked to seen a Latin American tournament?
I would have. There's so much untapped potential in the Latin America that WWE kind of needs right now, because kind of getting bored of, and to veer away from Raw, I'm kind of getting bored of the whole Raw storyline. I mean, sorry, the SmackDown storyline.
Yeah.
So you think a tournament for Latin America would help you not be bored with the SmackDown storyline, or is it just something different?
It's just something different. I need something different.
Uh,
Because I keep seeing the same thing on I see Strowman just destroying, and then I see Daniel Bryan abusing power. So it's like, see the same thing every week.
You know,
I need something new.
If you want to see something different that's kind of away from SmackDown and Raw, there's a little show that comes on after SmackDown on the WWE Network. It's called 205 Live.
It's too late. I'm an old man. I need to go to
sleep. So watch it the next day. It's on the network. You can pretty much watch it whenever you want. Heck, it's even on Hulu.
The Hulus?
The Hulus? Yes, the Hulus. Mister, my microphone's breaking up on me again.
Oh, it's okay.
You know what? This is all your back talk, and people are coming at you, but through the internet.
Okay, it's my internet. They want to get hacked? Come at me more. I'll show you.
Okay.
I told you what I can do.
So why are we saying that the alternative could be 205 Live? Well, I'll tell you why. It was reported earlier that Mr. McMahon, who already has a lot on his plate, is no longer producing the 205 Live. Instead, his son-in-law, Triple H, will be taking over his duties as the show's producer, as he has already brought a tremendous change to the show's format. Vince McMahon wanted the show to echo Raw and SmackDown with smaller stars. Vince worked with the stars to present their personality and showmanship to the world, but Triple H is reportedly more focused on their in-ring work, trying to make the show similar to the Cruiserweight Classic tournament. What do you guys think of Triple H taking over 205 Live?
I like it.
I'll watch it now. I will watch 205 Live now. Live.
You'll watch 205
Live, or for your old fogey who can't stay past his bedtime, Mr. Ralph, you can watch it the next day either on Hulu or the WWE Network, which is only $9.99.
Hey, I have a mean boss that needs me to come in early, so I have to go to sleep early.
I don't think it's the boss that makes you come in early. I think it's the bus you have to take that tries to get you in early.
You should just super kick your boss.
And you're getting this from the king of super kicks.
Yeah, if he irritates you, super kick him.
Listen,
that'll teach him. That'll learn him.
The thing is, I've been a very big advocate of 205 Live. Yes, nobody watches it. I watch it. Now, after the issues with the former Cruiserweight champion, who will not be named,
and the one before him,
just with the issues of the person that was before, they have gone in a direction where it's more wrestling based. We saw Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander put on an amazing match. The next week we saw Tyler Bate come on versus TJP. This week we saw Hideo Itami versus Roderick Strong. The ideas and the possibilities of this tournament that they currently have, and them getting at least 15 to 20 minutes time, can cause and bring some interesting people over. There's the possibility of Adam Cole. There's possibility of Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. You have many interesting things that could happen. Next week they got Mark Andrews from the UK tournament coming over against Akira Tozawa. It brings a lot of talent over, and if they bring them over, then technically they're on Raw as well. So, why aren't you guys watching? And since you're saying you're going to see it now that Triple H is taking over, I believe Triple H has already taken over. It's just it wasn't announced until recently.
He took over after the Royal Rumble.
Oh, well.
That's what I read, that he took over after the Royal Rumble.
All right,
so I'll watch it now, because if you like the Cruiserweight Classic, and if you like NXT, then you'll like this. And I like both, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch it now.
The one thing that I did say, and I think I discussed this with Ralph earlier, was that the NXT program is in a small venue, where 205 Live is in a big stadium. the intimacy of NXT is, and the fans who come to see NXT causes that brand to be that way because of the way the fans are. 205 Live is now after a show, which is SmackDown, setting, which you've already sat down and saw 2 hours of show. Now you're going for another hour. You've got people that people are not invested in. You've got kids in the audience who don't know these people, and you're changing it to a pure wrestling. If half those people decide to leave because they're little kids, like it's because they have a curfew like Big Ralph, they can't stay out past 10, so they decide, oh, you know what, we're going to go home. Now that big stadium is now dwindled down to very little. Wouldn't that take away from what they're doing in the ring to have little to no or less crowd reaction?
I think you should move it to a smaller venue, a la NXT. Tape a couple episodes at a time and go from there, because I'm pretty sure that'll save them money, and they might be losing money renting out the places they're renting out for the length of time that they're renting them out for. So move it to a smaller venue. You're not going to lose anything. And I wouldn't show it Tuesday night after SmackDown, because by that point you've already had 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, so that's 5 hours. Do you really want to have 6 hours of wrestling and then within 2 days another hour on Wednesday? I would air it Friday nights or something.
You could air it right before or right after NXT. You could combine the two, and it could be like one episode of SmackDown.
That's a fair point too. Or just combine the cruiserweights into NXT and go from there. I don't think it needs to be a main roster type of show.
So then,
I don't think it needs to be live either.
Do you say take the cruiserweights away from Raw as well?
Yeah, because they're not serving any purpose in Raw. Look at their segments that they have. They're pretty much meaningless. People go to the bathroom. That's pretty much the break part of Raw.
Okay.
I don't know if you agree or not, but I just don't see their value on Raw right now, especially with people not paying attention, limited crowd reactions, etc., etc.
See, like I watch Raw on Hulu, and I barely see the 205 guys on Hulu.
Because they only show their important stuff on Hulu, and I guess they don't deem it important.
True, I guess they don't, because that those matches are really filler matches. It's not progressing in any story. I guess when they had stories on 205 Live, it would. But then again, when the former Cruiserweight champion was around, they did make that the main event segment. So it depends on where 205 Live was in story. I don't think it needs to be on Raw, because it just doesn't flow right with the rest of the show. And I do agree, it needs to be in a smaller venue. I say keep it at Full Sail with NXT and just produce it like you would do that. Plus, with the possibility of maybe a Rey Mysterio coming in as a surprise entrance in the tournament, you also have that where he can work a limited schedule, and maybe you can get that deal.
I think with the introduction of Ricochet, that I read it's going to be on the NXT show, I think 2 weeks from now. So I think he's going to NXT rather than 205 Live. If they would have landed Ricochet, though, that would have been a big asset to their brand. But
well,
I
think think it's that thing where you're putting 205 Live after a SmackDown, right? It's after a SmackDown. You've got people who are not necessarily all wrestling fans that that know everything. You've got a lot of families in there who only watch the main shows. You bring a person like Ricochet in, you might not know him. Where Roderick Strong has been established in NXT for a little bit. They've done some shows. They've talked about it. You might have seen him. There's a backstory to him. Maybe that's the reasoning behind it.
I can absolutely agree with that. However, if it's going to be a wrestling-focused show, if you don't know if you don't know Ricochet, you will after his match. Do you think that matters or not?
I don't know. I mean, then again, they introduced a lot of these people if you didn't see a Cruiserweight Classic, so I guess you could have if you wanted to, really.
I don't know. I was hoping by this point Cedric Alexander would have been the champion. Because if you watch him in the Cruiserweight Classic, I don't know what happened with him between the Cruiserweight Classic and now, but it feels like all that potential just didn't go anywhere. Like, I was hyped for him to be on WWE TV, and once he was just like, oh, the hell? Like, I don't know. Maybe that whole thing with Alicia Fox totally threw me off.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, the story
I never
aspect of
understood
it,
that.
there was no real good story aspect of those 205 Lives. There were some that were good, but that whole Alicia Fox thing wasn't. The Drew Gulak trying to make a better 205 Live was good. The former Cruiserweight Champions storyline when he first came in was good. They had some brilliance here and there, but nothing that you could really sink your teeth in. But I think if it was like a tournament or it's something where stakes are different, more like you said in an NXT vibe, then I think they'll thrive really good. Plus, you let them do a little bit more than you let the main roster do. Let them fly from wherever they want to fly. Whoa, okay. Don't know what the ding was, but okay. Go to the next subject.
We don't have
to. So recently, they're doing on HBO a documentary regarding Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant and a biography about Andre and his life on HBO. So they had this thing where they're going to. There's a rumor going around that's saying they're in recent things they didn't push the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner at all. I mean, you can name the winners; they weren't really pushed. I guess they've had pretty good careers, but it's not like they were going to the main. But this year, because offsetting the biography, they're going to do a big push. Whoever wins that. Do you think that's fair to the other ones? And do you see it now becoming something for a bigger star other than the kind of mid-card guys to come in and win this tournament or this battle royal?
Go ahead, Big Ralph, because I don't think I was paying attention, so I missed what he said.
All right, look, they're doing a show on HBO, biography from Andre the Giant. Now they're deciding that maybe they're going to push the person who actually wins the Andre Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Do you think this will now cause us to get the top-tier stars to be in the Battle Royal and win the Battle Royal instead of the mid-card guys?
No. Because you don't want to take away from the main star. I don't know the word for the phrase. The people who make the most money in the company. You don't want to take away from their storylines by putting them in a battle royal that up until now hasn't really meant anything.
Okay.
Well, if they make it mean something, should you start adding more like key name players? Is what you're asking, right?
Right. To make it more interesting or to make people be a little more excited.
I mean, the only problem I see with that is once that key name player comes in, you're like, okay, you already know that he's going to win it. I think you should keep the mid cards and then give them a push and try to see if they work in the main roster, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Example.
But yes, to your first question, I don't think it's fair to the other winners that now the new winner's going to get a push. But hey, that's politics. That's the way it is.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
There's banging. It's Slender Man.
I don't want him to come at me.
Usually you want everyone to come at you.
I know. You don't want Slender Man?
Nah, he's on some mojo. I don't know, man.
Mojo.
I'm not messing with them.
I have no problem them making the Battle Royal prestigious and meaning something, which if they were going to do it and name it after someone like Andre the Giant, they should have made it more prestigious and actually push that person. But it goes goes like the Money in the Bank guy. There's always that threat of the Money in the Bank guy, but that guy should get a push Then you had Damian Sandow, who had it, never got a push, and always got pinned. And you're like, well, what's the point of having a Money in the Bank if you're not going to be show that at any moment you can win? Plus, you have this suitcase. It's kind of what they're doing. Carmella, okay, she's got the Money in the Bank suitcase, but you don't feel like she could beat anybody without it. Plus, they should have pushed her a little bit more where she could beat more and more people. I really think they probably should have kept Ellsworth with her instead of letting him go so that they'll bring more heat on him.
Aside from what she did, I think, was it last week? Or was it 2 weeks ago?
She broke up with the cast.
That she came out and just destroyed the referee. Aside from that segment, I don't see her as a threat to the title.
Right.
But that's what they do. That's their philosophy. They downgrade whoever has the Money in the Bank briefcase. So when they win it, it's a bit surprised. Like, oh, he did it. That's stupid because once they get it, you see him as a vulnerable champion that can't hold the title. So they have no legitimacy.
Legitimacy.
They have no. They have no legitimacy.
Oh my God, we're trying to be family friendly here, and you're sitting out saying F-bombs.
There's no kids listen to this. There's no legitimacy once they win it. So it's like your whole philosophy in booking and storytelling is flawed. Because why am I going to take somebody who couldn't win a match before they get the title? Once they do get the title, no, man. If you want to do it the right way, do it like RVD did it. RVD was winning matches. He had the briefcase. He's like, you know what, man? I'm going to fight you, John Cena, on my home turf. Come to ECW. And when he won that title, you was like, all right, I can believe him as champion. I mean, he smoked a whole bunch of weed afterwards and lost it, but it's like, come on, man.
I don't know. I would still pick a weekend Charlotte over Miss Money in the Bank.
I would too. I would pick what's her name? You know what?
Tamina?
No, man, forget Tamina. I would pick what's her? I will put. I can't talk right now. I'm too tired. I would pick.
Legitimately, you can't talk.
I would pick. And you know I don't like her. I will pick Alicia Fox over Carmella.
Okay.
You know,
she's on Ross and it wouldn't make any difference.
I don't care. She's crazy, apparently, so she'll do whatever she wants.
Okay. She'd come in and she'd be like, guess what? I'm now here. And I'm taking this. Yeah.
Too, so.
Go for it. I like Alicia Fox. I have no problem with the Fox.
I don't know. I don't know. I need either a shot of tequila or some sleep. You know what? I'm not even sleeping anymore. I was damn near asleep, and now I'm awake, and I probably won't be able to go to sleep. Whatever, man.
Okay, so
on that note,
after that ramble, we've got an interesting.
I just Booker T'd it.
You Booker T'd it. Shook-a-dookie, quack quack, sook-a-dookie, whatever he says. So,
all that.
So Shane McMahon announced that the winner of next week's match between Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin will go on to join AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn to fight for the WWE title at Fastlane. Is this just Shane adding another person just to take the pinfall so that Sami and Owens and Styles, or whoever decides, but we're assuming Styles is going to win, so Sami and Owens don't look weak and they stay strong? Yep. And who do you think they're going to give it to? Are they going to let Corbin take the pinfall or Ziggler? Or
Ziggler.
Is this total swerve and we'll get like a Ziggler winning the WWE title like he won the US title?
Man, don't even tease.
What? Look, it would be an interesting swerve. Listen to this. Listen. Fastlane is like right there, right in March, right? You have Ziggler win it in a swerve, which totally throws everybody for a loop. And then he loses it like on a SmackDown for AJ's return match.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. Something like a glass of some sort?
I don't know. Anyway, continue.
So you have Ziggler win it, kind of swerve everybody for the WWE, and then have him lose it on a SmackDown Live before Mania.
No, he's been hurt enough. Him taking the pinfall is just that's enough. Because Ziggler's character is to the point now where I'm just like, dude, what the hell? So just have him take the pin and Fastlane and just go from there.
Okay. I think it would be an interesting storyline.
It would be interesting, and I completely agree with you. But that's Ziggler's MO, and I think if you ever want to take him serious again in anything, you can't do that.
Okay. Ralph, any opinion?
Nope. No
Good.
opinion on that.
You don't care, do you?
I don't. I am upset the fact that Daniel Bryan just comes on and it's like, oh, you know what? Both of them are in the match. And now you're adding another one. I just hope that AJ wins and it's like, stick it to you and see, this is why I am phenomenal. Phenomenal?
Well, I do have to say that the Owens-Sami Zayn match before it ended the way it did was actually pretty damn good.
I like that match. I just don't like the whole storyline that's going on with Daniel Bryan and
yeah, they gotta get
like
rid of that
over and
storyline.
over and over again. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, that storyline needs to go away. So are we excited about what's happening at Fastlane, or is it still too early to see?
Don't care. I just
Don't care. Okay. Well, Fastlane, we got Elimination Chamber first, so that we'll have to focus on that right now because Big Ralph's in the lead in those points. So, so every week, one of us picks a current or old school.
Wait,
match.
that's it?
That's it.
That's
What else
it?
you got? Or
You
do
got
I have to
something
like
from
write
New
something
Japan?
in here that says, does anybody else have any topics they'd like to discuss?
Let me think for a second. Let me think.
The only things I didn't cover that I had on my sheet was they're talking about not doing the Broken character, even though he owns the rights. They're going to keep it Woken, and they're in a house show somewhere, and I believe it's in Minneapolis. They're going to have Brock versus Miz, which I thought was interesting that they're going to do, but I didn't think it was that interesting enough to put here. So, what do you guys? If you got any topic, bring it out, Mr. Hollywood.
I don't think I have anything else. I think I told you everything that happened that I thought was of importance.
The only thing you told me was Triple H taking over 205 Live.
Yeah, that's the only thing I cared about this. So, no, I have nothing else to mention or talk about or care about. I sound really, like, disgruntled. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
need to
You know what? Maybe you need to go take a nap or something.
a nap. I need to. Nah, it's too late for a nap. I need to. I don't know. Whatever.
It's
What's
never too
what's
late
the
for a
match?
nap.
What's the match this week?
The match is your favorite, Ric Flair, who's the current NWA World Title, with Hiro Matsuda versus Ricky Steamboat, and part of the trilogy, Chi-Town Rumble, February 20th, 1989. This is where Steamboat wins the title. I picked this match because I said to myself, I am definitely going to see this trilogy because I'm tired of Hollywood telling me how good Ric Flair is. So let's enter Chicago. This is where it is. One of the best wrestling towns you could think of, or cities that you could think of. The match, technical masterpiece, right?
Yes.
People call this, which I was researching, the worst in the series. I don't know about that. The last one we saw, which was the last match where Flair wins it back, was phenomenal. To coin a phrase there. But this match set up for that match. This match showed you like the beginnings of what the next match was going to be. This one set up some things that you go, hey, we could do this. Again, everything was a slow build. It wasn't like they jumped the gun or anything. It was testing each other out. It was Steamboat with this, I'm coming here and I'm taking your title, and Flair doing whatever he could to stop him, and Steamboat just not letting him. Every time Flair came with something, Steamboat countered it. Every time, and it just started that build, right? Then Flair realized that a technical approach is not going to win this. So he goes more brutal, starts banging him on the outside, starts hitting him in the head, hitting the barricade, everything like that. And then when Steamboat wins, I mean, if you did not have this match, it would not have gone to the next match, which I think was better. I do, but I don't think this was the worst. People say this is the worst. It's not the worst. And then Jim Ross, and this is Jim Ross before he was the Attitude Era Jim Ross, but this is still Jim Ross, right? Jim Ross and his emotion when Steamboat got the 3, it was just, he puts an excitement, and that crowd was exciting. That crowd was split. You saw people in the audience putting up the 4 Horsemen sign. And this is in 4 Horsemen, when they were like at the peak of the 4 Horsemen trade. So you have that element, the slow burn build, the excitement, the build up, the viciousness, and the building blocks for the next match, which was the match that was better than this one, but I don't think, reading the reviews, that this one was the worst out of the 3. And again, I didn't see the first one, so I can't comment on that. So but the next match is the one that it builds to. I don't think, okay, always comparing it to the Omega Okada matches, right?
Yes.
You always, now, because we have that trilogy, you always look at those matches and you go, I have this match and I have those matches. The difference between these matches and those matches are very, very little. And what I mean by that is that where in this era, you didn't do high flyer moves, right? This era was more ground-based. Steamboat was probably one of the only other guys that went to the top rope and flew. And he didn't really fly like they fly now, If you were going to get a guy out of the ring, you threw him over the top rope or through the middle rope, or they flew out because of momentum, right?
Right.
And Okada and Omega, they were throwing themselves out of the rope, over the rope, That's where the difference is in these matches. And it could be with the time. So if you're a person who is of a generation, probably millennial of that sense, you're going to look at those matches, Okada, Omega, and think they're better than these matches. So it is a preference. It's always going to be a preference.
I think...
But the matches are similar in build. It's a slow build. You get more vicious. You start going to the outside more. That's what it is. So I can't say that one is better than the other in those things. But if we're going to compare them, because we always going to look at these trilogies now, and go, hey, But I think the difference is in these, what I like, and it could be because we're listening to, New Japan, and we don't have the same commentary as we do, and the same audience. Because the New Japan stuff, you don't have the same rowdy audience that you get when you're in Chicago, of all places, and the way the crowd reacts to a near fall, or putting on the figure 4 and then getting out of it, or Flair grabbing the rope and cheating, and then the ref getting bumped, all that stuff. You don't have that type of reaction. I mean, I guess with the Jericho one they kind of did, but Jericho played that heel card so high that you know what I mean. He just dialed that up to the point where if you didn't have a reaction, he was going to make sure he got a reaction. So, great match. I'm glad I get to watch them because I never did before. I know you're chomping at the bit, Hollywood. Go for it. Tell me what you think.
Uh, I have to be very calm and tactful in my response, and I will be. The hell was I gonna say?
Really? That's tactful enough?
Okay, so to your point, I've taken the viewpoint now within maybe like the past week or so that if I need to compare matches, I'm gonna do it in a progressive manner. So you have this trilogy, right? And then you have the back-to-backs that Michaels and Undertaker had, and then you go to your Kenny Omega and Okada matches. I put Michaels Undertaker in the middle because timeline wise that happened in the middle, but I think that's when you started to see the transition towards finishing moves don't matter as much. I'm going to kick out of literally everything, and you're going to have to hit me with everything you got to get a victory, right? I think that's what Okada and Omega are continuing. So, like, when people compare them and they say Okada, Omega's better, right? I think that is a generational thing because I'm somebody who lived through all those generations and all those matches, right? And I can appreciate them both, or I can appreciate all three of them for what they are and what they did for wrestling. But I love this match. I don't think it's weak by any means. Like if you watched it, it told a story, and the story was Ricky Steamboat came back, and he came back to win the world title. And I'm the type of person that likes fluidity, and I like good storytelling, and I like for a match to actually mean something. So if you do something, it has to mean something, and that's what Flair and Steamboat did. When they wrestled, you rarely ever saw them call anything in the ring. Everything looked fluid. There wasn't pausing. There wasn't like, what should I do next? Like it was a match that you can watch from start to finish, and you can enjoy each of it, right? Now, if you watch a match now, you see the spot calling, you see the hesitation, you see the pausing. Nothing looks like it really means anything, right? But then you go back to Michaels, Taker, Okada, Omega. Like you don't see them calling spots. Everything looks fluid. The moves mean something. So yeah, I think that this match was like the precursor to like all of that, and it worked. And when Steamboat won, the reaction he got was priceless. Like you can't reproduce that.
No. And like
It's like
like I said, the passion the passion from Jim Ross's voice on him just winning. It's like, you always hear that little snippet from, the Attitude Era where he's just yelling Stone Cold, Stone Cold, you know what I mean? It brings an element to it that I think that's what the Okada Omega's missing is the crowd participation and the
that's
commentary.
The Japanese crowd, though. The Japanese crowd they appreciate it just as much as the Americans, but culturally they're a lot more subdued at sporting events, so you're not going to hear them.
I know, but it
they
brings an element.
They respect what the talent are doing in the ring, so
I understand the culture
them.
difference, but I think that adds an element of excitement. It's like watching a movie, right? And then you have the music come in to accompany what you're seeing, right? So the scene on its own probably is amazing, but you get that little undertone of something. And, certain music triggers certain emotions to certain things. If you have a crowd as hot as the Chicago crowd is, it brings an element to a great match. And like you said, the Steamboat Flairs was not about the finishers, because honestly they hardly won off their finishers. But the Okada Omega was all about Omega hitting the One-Wing Angel.
Yep.
So it was about the finisher.
No, but how
nobody
many
can
times
pick it at. So
No,
there's
but-
a different story in that.
No, but how many times did Okada hit the Rainmaker?
It's true. That is true. But then, like I said, though, it was all about his finisher, and that was the story. If he could hit that,
I
then it's
think,
over.
but I forgot which match it was. If it was one or two, but he did hit it. But Okada got to the ropes, right?
Yep. I think he hit it, and it got to the ropes, or the time ran out. Which one was it? Was it time ran out? No, I think he got the ropes.
And number 3, he hit it.
Number
And
3
2,
he hit it, and that's where he won.
I don't remember now. I have
Yeah,
to
no,
rewatch it.
I have to rewatch it too. So wait, now throwing a wrinkle here. All right, Okada Omega better than Gargano and Almas. Two different stories.
That's hard.
No, okay. So you talked about not calling spots. Okay, so I didn't watch WCW that much. So your progression there of Taker Michaels was I thought that was just an amazing match when I saw it. So I start from Taker Michaels if you want to go progression, right? We go Taker Michaels, right? Okada Omega. Well, if we're going in chronological order of some sort, I'm going to put one that we saw was our past main event that Ralph gave us, the Iron Woman match, Sasha Bailey, right? You didn't see spots called there. Very good match. Way to build it. They put the work in. Great match, right? Then you got the progression: Okada Omega, Gargano and Almas. No spots called. Amazing match. Had everybody on its feet. It had different elements, different story. You had, the manager get involved. You had the wife get involved. You had the underdog story. Which is better, Okada Omega or Gargano and Almas? And you can pick any of the Omega Okada matches. I think the second one's the better one out of the two, in my opinion. But the one where they like it goes to the time limit, and nobody wins.
I think I'm going to have to pick Okada Omega 2. I would put Okada Omega 2, Michaels Undertaker, Gargano Ciampa, and then the Iron Woman match.
Well, where's your Flair in that, or is that one automatically?
I can't ever rank a Flair and Steamboat match. I can't. Like, you already know it's going to be number 1, so I can't.
So you think Okada Omega is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
What, you did it?
I don't know. Honestly, I can't.
I mean, I put it at 2 after Taker Michaels.
I know, but I think Gargano and Almas was really good. That I don't know if I could put the Omega Okada before it.
I would have put it
or maybe
above.
It ties.
If Gargano would have won, I would have put it above.
I don't think that's the story, though.
It would have been one hell of a story, though.
It would have been a great story. But if that's where they go in this match, what's the rematch where he wins it?
Who wins it?
Where Gargano wins it. You gotta have that match.
Yeah, but he already lost almost like 3 times by that point, right?
Right. I gotcha. By that point. But there was a progression of story. Just broke up with his tag team, lost to this, did it again, lost here. There was a progression of story with Almas. Almas is trying to get back, gets Zelina Vega. You know what I mean? Those are stories to their rivalry. There's got to be one more. Because people are going to want that next level, Almas and Gargano. Now, Gargano's probably got the Ciampa problem to deal with first. So I don't think we'll get this match until later. I think Philadelphia will be Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. But
okay. He should have won it, right?
But I think they're going to do it again. And I think it'll be for the championship.
No, have him win it, right? Have him win it the last takeover. Have him rematch, and then when he wins the rematch, when he finally gets his spot, his glory, like I did it, I retained it, like I'm the man. That's when you have Ciampa come out and attack him to like take away all of his glory right when he gets it, or no?
I don't know. It's a good story too.
Yeah.
Could go either way.
I'm looking at pictures of Candice LeRae, and yeah, she is pretty cute.
Okay, totally off the subject.
No, it's not.
Needed. Yeah,
On that
totally.
note,
She's the wife of Gargano.
I understand that, but we're not talking about the cutest, her part of the world's cutest tag team. We're talking about her. I mean, we're talking about her husband and where he's pretty. Anyways, we should be talking about Flair and Steamboat is what we didn't talk about.
No, but Flair Steamboat covers all. It encompasses all things, so it's
Yeah.
okay to talk about other matches.
Is that right?
Yeah, because it all leads back to Steamboat Flair.
yeah, other matches,
And
not
the-
other
and-
women.
Yeah. In the end, it all goes back to Steamboat Flair because that is the measuring stick, isn't it?
Flair's a measuring stick.
Flair is I mean, I'm
That's
sure
something
there's
wrong,
nobody
kind of.
there that's going to disrespect Flair in any way. Everybody respects the hell out of him.
Yeah.
But who do you think is better, though, Michaels or Flair? Because they're both considered the top two of all time.
Okay, look, you can't ask me that question just like you can't ask you that question. You grew up on Ric Flair. You love Ric Flair. Ric Flair is your man.
But so is
Not in a
Michaels.
plutonic way. For me, it's Michaels. I grew up with Michaels. I watched Michaels. Michaels the one. If you were going to ask me, I would put Michaels before Flair. But that's because I grew up watching Shawn Michaels. You watched Ric Flair, so I didn't know Ric Flair enough of Ric Flair until the Attitude Era, and then I didn't know him until and after that he went to WWE. Okay, let me rephrase that. I knew Ric Flair when he won the 1992 Royal Rumble or 91 Royal Rumble, so I knew him from that. His feud with Macho Man, saw all that, and then Attitude Era happened. Watched him through that. Then he came over to WWE. So that's the Flair I know. You know. The measuring stick you're taking from is in the early to mid to late 80s, So, I'm a Michaels guy. If you're going to ask me, I'm going to say Michaels.
I can respect that.
Ralph, who would you pick?
I'd pick Michaels.
See? And
For the same reasons, because
Right.
Michaels is the one like once I started watching Ric Flair, he was already like
Oh,
not at his exactly. He wasn't at his I didn't want to say old. He wasn't at his prime.
oh man.
Like when I was watching WCW, they weren't showcasing him the way they should.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't the Ric Flair that you should be watching growing up. Let's put it that way.
I can respect that too.
Right. So, I mean, it's hard for us to compare, and it's all subjective anyway.
But if you ever, either one of you, say Roman Reigns or John Cena is your favorite wrestler, you're off the podcast. Like I will kick you. I'll ban you from Discord. I'll block you on Skype, and you'll never be on a podcast again.
You don't have to worry about that because my favorite wrestler is The Rock.
There you go. Hey, how come we don't talk about Taker in this sense? Taker's
think
had
because
amazing matches with a lot of different people, so
I don't
he's
think
never in the
Taker-
conversation. You know what I mean? You say Flair, you say Michaels, you say, this one, that one, but we never say Taker.
because I think he was more of an attraction and more of a gimmick
Yeah.
wrestler, and I don't think his really great matches happened until later in his career.
It's true.
I don't think he has a body of work, but I don't think his body of work compares on a worker level like Michaels and Flair.
Okay, I can see that. I can understand that point.
Well,
as you, the listener, let us know what you think. Who do you think is the better wrestler? Flair, Michaels, Taker? Or somebody else that we haven't even talked about. Maybe even
John Cena.
John Cena or Roman Reigns. Please
Juan
let us know. If you want, you can check us out at ugeekly.com, which is we're part of the what?
If you want, they don't have a choice. They have to.
Oh damn! Come at him.
Come at us.
I totally think that if I ever can get a T-shirt going, it's just going to say "Come at me, Hollywood." That's it.
Come at Hollywood.
Come at me, Hollywood.
Come at me.
That's it. Come at me.
As quoted by Hollywood.
Yeah.
And on the back of the shirt.
And on the back of the shirt, just say Hollywood Marcus.
No, Jiggly Hollywood Puff the Fifth.
Jiggly Hollywood Puff the Fifth. So if you have any comments or anything, you're welcome to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We are under UGeekly, UGeekly. We are part of the Unique Geek Network. So so please check out the website. We're also on Podbean and Apple Podbean? Wow. We're on Podbean and Apple Podcasts. So please subscribe and leave a comment and give us a 5-star rating. Tell us how much you like us. Until next time, I'm the savior of good behavior, Jose Sands. I'm with the king of super kicks, Marcus, and the man with 1,002 holds, Ralph, saying, see you next time.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Get some sleep, man, because you're crazy.
Am I really?
Yeah. But
okay.
You're crazy when you're awake, too.